Hi Ben.
Hey Roger.
Nice to see you again. Show me your guitar.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
You've had this 20 years, haven't you? Or nearly.
Nearly.
Yeah.
It's getting on for that. So I think this
Alchemist.
is 2008. I think I got this second hand from Hobgoblin Music on Rathbone Place in that there fancy London. Which is
Quite small, short scale.
It is.
See
But
the
then
top.
I came to
lively.
it from a classical background.
Yeah.
So small guitar with a cedar top was kind of what I was used to. But this was always the guitar I had. Like did loads and loads and loads of gigs with it, and it's been, you know, it's not going anywhere, frankly, because it's.
Well, you want to talk about a new guitar, and you've got a guitar that you want to sell, which we'll come back to that later. But just so happens here that we have a guitar that's due to go out shortly, which is the same size body as that, but it's a longer scale length and a shorter neck. So it would be interesting just to put those, just to play them side by side.
Yeah. So this one's in standard now.
It's brand new, of course. So it's more compact, but you do have the longer string length, so you've still got the power available to you, the weight of the string. And of course, the feature of that is moving the bridge down.
I was going to say your bridges all come much further away.
Yeah. The next thing I'd point out would be this, which is another 12-fret guitar. It's the Aerial, very popular
This is
guitar.
very light, isn't it?
Yes.
Really light.
It's an old one. It's in to sell for somebody. Very lively guitar, very lightweight. Again, 12 frets to the body, bridge in the middle of where it needs to be. Not as loud, maybe, but still very loud.
Proportion-wise, you're right. It feels a lot like a classical again.
Yep.
It's got that sort of.
Yep.
Could lose yourself in that
From
for quite
that.
some time.
Yeah. This is an interesting one because there's a direct step from that guitar to this. Doesn't look like it.
No.
That is the Orleans, which is the guitar that Martin Simpson and I invented one night. It's the same scale length as the Aerial, but it's on a bigger body. So it's a full staff body, almost a dreadnought size, on a bigger body. The bridge is still more or less where it needs to be in the middle of the important part. Short, convenient sized neck. As I say, shorter string length, which is a bit more convenient for playing, but you don't have the same power, which is sort of countered by the bigger body size. And of course, with the cutaway, you've still got the same access. Now the obvious step from that one would be this, which is an ordinary full staff. So same size body, longer string length and 14 frets to the body. Yeah.
Which is, that's it.
More power, sharper tone, a bit more cutting, more headroom, you can hit it harder. And there we go, bluegrass.
It has that. There's a push to it, really, isn't there?
Yeah. And one more step. This is an odd one. This is the Oberon, which is the guitar that started it all, really. Same timbers. Engelmann's Spruce, Indian Rosewood, etc. But a short scale, wider fingerboard, smaller body. That's really intended for finger picking, nothing else.
And the bass isn't as pronounced, is it?
It's a drier sound on the bass. Most of the final customers over the years haven't wanted that big American bass sound. It isn't necessarily appropriate when you're playing with your fingers. It comes out better when you're playing with a pick. Horses for courses. So. like you to do now is to try and move around those guitars and see if you can pull out the features of any one that suit you or doesn't suit you. We can talk about it. Does it need to be a longer scale, a shorter scale, wider fingerboard, smaller body, etc.? All those things. We're not restricted to these, but you just happen to have these guitars here.
I'm going to use a pick. So predominantly I'm looking to more strummy sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I love the sound of this one, but I feel like the bass that's missing on it.
So it's dry. So where would you go next?
Let's swap and see what the Orleans is like, just out of interest. It's an interesting one, because like comparable to the Oberon.
Yeah.
The bass is sort of it's getting there with it.
Yeah, it's a bigger body. And then you go back.
And then go back to the
folk stuff, which is those two extra things. Not necessarily good, it's just different. Longer scale length. 14 frets, and of course a deeper body.
Yeah.
Well, that's apparent straight away, the extra bass.
Yeah.
Now,
very different again.
Yes. Having gone from that, let's go back to the most extreme comparison. Small body, short scale length, 12 fret. Yeah, massive, isn't it? But it's not. It's not better or worse.
No,
it's
just different. This is an older one as well.
It's an old guitar, that, yeah.
It still sounds gorgeous, doesn't it? Again, the size of it and everything else still remind me of a classical. So it's.
Well, everything is brighter, a bit more immediate. You haven't got the big bass behind every note. You've got a little bit of sharpness on every note. That's the one that Pete Townsend has 5 of. Now we're going to do another big change now. It's a massive one. I want you to play your Leonardo.
Ooh, okay. This one, this was a 2010? No, 2020. Totally different sound.
Yeah, different to all of them. Now it's got a redwood top. It's a long scale, and the back and side of claret walnut with a few little tweaks. And that's become your main working guitar.
This is my main one now.
Yeah.
This is the workhorse. This has been gigged and toured a lot now, actually. Still sounds gorgeous, and I love I know it's stupid little details and things like that, but the fact that you get the extra little, it's like, it's like, okay, how many times am I going to hit it? Probably very few, but it's there.
I have been known to add those onto guitars some years after they were built. You're very comfortable playing that, aren't you?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, considering the strings are a good few months old as well. It's not sort of. It still sounds wonderful, but it's little things like the shape and the scale length of this one. Just
Leonardo, we've hardly publicised it at all. I started making that more or less the same time as I stopped going to shops. We only sell direct now, and not many people see it.
No,
it's a lovely shape, a lovely design.
It's that thing with the guitar workshops as well. People are like, because obviously people want to go have a play on it. And like, this is very different. It's like,
So, what are you looking for a new guitar? You're stepping away. There's another guitar I want to show in a minute, but you're stepping away from that. You're looking for something new.
So this one is wonderful. Absolutely perfect for a lot of the fingerstyle stuff that I tend to do, and certainly gigging with it and that kind of thing. It makes a lot of sense. My one issue, if ever was an issue, is something which I think you've seen between the sort of the cedar topped and the spruce topped ones. is playing it with a pick or strumming it, or a lot of the work I tend to do is like session work, or it's like library music or something like that, or it's gig, or recording for other people and things like that. And it ends up being sort of, it's not fingerstyle. It's something that's strummed, or it's something which is much more sort of, I don't want to say cowboy chords, but you know what I mean? It's got that sort of like, some of it's a bit more bluegrassy, some of it's a bit more jazzy, some of it's more something else, but it's not really sort of the nice, it's not a solo guitar instrumental performance sort of thing. It's much more as part of an ensemble kind of stuff, and also like something I could take to a session and not be drowned out by a fiddle.
Oh, there's that. Yeah.
Which is always a problem.
So you want something more headroom, something you can play harder and get more out of. Yeah.
Invariably with a pick as well.
Yeah, I think I might have told you this story before. I like to liken this to sports like table tennis or badminton. You can't hit the thing very far in the village hall. It doesn't matter how much effort you put into it, it won't go very far. But if you're playing golf, it's another matter. You've got a heavy club, a very hard, inelastic ball, and you can drive that ball for miles. And you get a similar equivalent in guitars. There are guitars that will accept energy and put them out. And that's what we come out will accept energy and put it out again. And that comes out as headroom.
Yeah.
How hard you can play and still have a good tone at high volume. Generally speaking, softer guitars with cedar top, etc., don't give you much headroom. And generally speaking, a spruce top gives you more headroom. It's stiffer and heavier.
Yeah, and I think it's the thing where, like, this. I mean, I've done lots of solo gigs with this one, and I can happily stand up and play it for a lot of time. But something I can sort of, because of what it is as well, like, I'd feel uncomfortable taking it to a pub and sort of handing it around or anything else like that. It's very much, it's a me.
I'm sure you can imagine that guitars we get here sometimes having been worked hard for a few years, the state they're in, and the things we find in them and on them, a bit of a health risk sometimes.
It's the usual one of how many guitar picks are floating around inside the sound hole.
And the rest.
But yeah, that's basically where the sort of brief comes in.
Well, where would you go from here if you wanted to try another guitar? Would you go for a different size? Or just the first step. Where would you go next?
I would probably go. I'd probably go 14 fret. The Falstaff you've got on the wall there is probably where I'd start from.
Well, let's do another comparison then. Let's go straight to that, one after the other. It does take a while for your ears to accommodate a new sound.
Same tune.
We'll swap back in a minute.
Yeah.
Try again.
Swap back to that one.
This should be interesting.
Yeah. Oh wow.
That big chord is a big sound, isn't it? Let's just compare the two again. Let's just do
that one.
Keep on doing this.
Very, very. Yeah.
has a warmth and a roundness to it. And that's sort of sharper.
That's the thing.
Probably louder if you pushed it harder, but this is actually quite loud. It's
Yeah.
just a very quick response.
Yeah, but then that won't do that.
No.
Because it's the projection and the shuttlecock and the.
I think most people would think this is a more impressive sound. It's sort of a richer sound. It's a bit more sort of friendly, if you like. But
There's a
that
character
one,
to it.
I think, has got a bit more available. Yeah, you can find more things in that which you wouldn't be able to find on this.
There's a sophistication, I think, to that one that sort of has that sort of. I don't know, because I've been so comfortable with that one and written loads of stuff with it.
It shows. Lovely guitar.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Can we clean it for you?
Yeah. it's that thing. I don't like keeping it in a case because I want it out.
You shouldn't do. It should be out all the time.
It needs to be played.
Unless you've got dogs and small children running around. Look at that. I don't know whether the camera can see this, but there's a rolled edge. It's what I like to do sometimes. Rather than a bevel at the top, the soundboard is just curved over by bending. Lovely. All right. Well, I want you to play your fanfret now. This is the guitar you've had since what?
2013, 14, something like that. So I definitely had it. In 2014 because I did a lot of gigs with it then.
That's the guitar you played at Young Folk Awards when you won, isn't it?
We won. So I won. It was a best duo thing at the Folk Awards in 2015.
Yeah.
And that was the Cardiff Millennium Centre gold.
I remember sitting in the audience as a line as I think Marty Simpson was just along the road, and as soon as you started playing, the BBC do a good sound, don't they? As soon as you started playing, everyone went, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one came about. So the Alchemist, which we've seen before, because I think that was mostly in Dadgad stuff, and then as things progressed, I started doing more stuff in C tunings, and suddenly having to swap between D and C on the same guitar. Obviously, that's a reason to get another guitar that's just for C tunings, really. So this was the outcome of that conversation. So it's based on a Falstaff. But with a cutaway, and it's actually got I think it's a deeper body as well.
Yep. And the Cocobolo, isn't it?
And Cocobolo, yeah.
And this time with the conventional.
This time with an actual bevel on the top. And it's 26.5" on the bottom and 25.5 on the top.
Yeah. Not a massive fan. If you look at it, there's usually a square fret, and it's around about the 12th.
Sort of 12, yeah.
So you've got equal left and equal right. There's a consequence of having a fanfret is that the bridge is at an angle, and that stiffens the soundboard up massively. So in order to get that long string length on the bass, if you have to twist the bridge, the soundboard gets stiffer and stronger, so you can actually make the guitar rather light. But on this guitar, we've equaled it out, so the bridge is not too much of a steep angle. It's fairly square, and that will keep the soundboard loose and resonant, and still not too much hard work at the bottom end.
It's a lovely guitar. And it really goes deep. I mean, that's down.
Is it tuned to?
This is in CGCF CD. But what I find is it's despite the spruce top, it's got the. I could never push it enough to get the volume out of it or anything like that. Plugged in, it's beautiful, and that's primarily what it was used with.
But you're not playing it so much now.
No, it's the main reasons being that when I started doing my own stuff and doing gigs, this was the guitar I take out on the road with me, and tuning it to Dadgad, and then suddenly going, right, I've now got to do very twiddly guitar stuff, standing up for an hour and a half, and it's quite a heavy guitar. Cocobolo's it's quite a solid piece. I found I was reaching a point where sort of I physically I was finding that I couldn't stand up for the period of time playing it, and stretching and things like that with it. So, and also again because the body's deep.
But you're a tall chap. You can cope with a big
I am a tall chap.
We have noticed.
But it is that, like, going from this and then suddenly getting the Leonardo has been such a, everything's come in again, and suddenly I'm able to stand up and do the gigs and do all that sort of stuff. So it's made a lot of sense. So this one hasn't really been used as much. I don't do so much in C tunings anymore. And if anything, I've been tuning it up to standard and then strumming it.
Yeah.
Which, if you're going to tune it up in standard and strum it, you might as well find something else to.
Well, I know which way I think you're heading. I'm not going to put words in your mouth.
No.
I can usually tell at this stage what guitar you're going to buy, but I'm not going to put words in your mouth. What thoughts are you having at the moment as another guitar?
At the moment, I'm thinking this is ideal. I like the 14 fret.
Yeah.
I like the general shape and consistency. I'm not too fussed about the fan fret side of things, and I think that it's probably going to end up being one of the Falstaffs with a standard sort of 14 fret rosewood back and sides job. I don't a form of spruce top. I mean, you know more about the spruces that exist.
Well, I can show you loads of different ones upstairs and talk about them some more.
Because I've had incidents in the past with picks and things like that, a scratch plate would be a useful idea. I know. Have you seen the State of the Alchemist on here though? Like, I don't know if you can catch that on the camera, but that's been chewed up quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, you know,
I know that was second hand when I got it, but like even so, you sort of.
It shows it's been used.
I know, but you can see it's being used. I'm playing it.
If you keep on going, you'll wear a hole in that and you'll become famous.
Willie Nelson's got a lot to answer for on that front. I mean, this. You know, I've recorded a lot with this. I've played an awful lot. It's been to America, it's been to Australia, it's been to all sorts of places, and I mean, it's still. I like to think it's been well looked after and all the rest of the stuff that goes with it. So.
It's pretty good. Shall I show you some dusty wood?
Love me a bit of dusty wood.
Some dust and wood.
Let's go and see what's going.
Just walking past a resonator, more Cocobolo.
Yeah. It's a beautiful wood.
Yeah, upstairs.
It really is some mad stuff in it.
These piles here are the higher grades. That's the words that you use anyway. These are more the standard grades, but it doesn't mean to say they're worth any less. A lot of the better guitars come from here because we have so much of it. We can really select and go through and find, you know, the really nicest piece of wood. Some are highly figured, some are fine grain. That's a very fine grain piece of Swiss pine. Same species as something that might come from Italy. Rather coarser grain, that's bear claw. So if you get close enough, you might be able to see the figuring in the wood. Now, if there's a small amount of that, it's regarded as a fault, but a lot of it, it's worth
a good
more
thing.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit strange. It makes the wood stiffer. All that twisting of the grain, you get more grain lines into the timber, stiffer soundboard. Your Leonardo has got a redwood top.
It has.
Well, this is the redwood.
Yeah. I just clocked it saying Sinker redwood.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty similar to yours. That's some very dark stuff that we got from Mendocino. Went over there and found the big planks, brought them back, chopped them up. It comes in a massive variety of colours. That's from the same place.
Yeah.
It's been soaking in water in Mendocino for 100 years or more.
It's a beautiful responsiveness.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Yeah. But you can get redwood. This is redwood. That's not Sinker. That's just redwood salvage picked up off the forest floor.
Yeah.
It's not been soaking in water. It's still old and useful. Yellow cedar from Alaska. Sitka spruce over here. We don't use much Sitka spruce. It's too stiff for most of my customers.
Right.
Great for American styles of music and flat picking. So it might suit you. We'll talk about that a bit more. This is dark cedar. There's a lot more lighter coloured cedar around the corner. On the bottom here, you might be interested. Look. That shape.
Looks like a neck.
Cricket bat. The willow cleft of a cricket bat.
Yeah.
And snooker cue butts
Yep.
down there. Up in the ceiling, all this. Cane from China, I think, for splitting, for making either fishing rods or cricket bat handles. And there's some wood for snooker cues downstairs. All sorts. That's a lump of Sitka spruce, which was carried down a mountainside in Alaska by a guy over there and shipped over to me for splitting down to make bracing. There's over 1,000 lines in there, gross lines, so that piece of wood was over 1,000 years old. It's probably bigger than that. The centre would have been there. It was bigger. That tree is 1,000, getting on for 2,000 years old when it fell down.
Yeah.
And it was chopped up. Yeah. This is the expensive part of guitar making. This is the timber for the backs and sides. You can go from the insane timber. Well, here's a good example. Brazilian rosewood, very highly regulated. All this is legal, but that's quite an exotic piece. And the two pieces like that for the back and two pieces like that for the sides that would match quite nicely. You're talking thousands of pounds just for the timber. Or there's other timbers which are just as valuable from a guitar making point of view, such as African blackwood, which is for a ukulele. Everything here. We've got Wenge, African ebony, Mikasa ebony, Silicote, Malaysian blackwood, more African blackwood, maple, cocobolo.
How much of an impact does the back and the sides have on the...
Well, as I say, from my point of view, it's the third in the line. The basic structure, the size, shape and construction of the guitar is the most important. Then the soundboard, then the back and sides. We've done lots of tests of that. We've made guitars from different timbers. In fact, one of those guitars you saw downstairs was part of an experiment we did for test different backs and sides. Mostly people can't really tell, which sounds rather odd. If you're really into it, you can, but most of the time people can't really tell in a blind test. Claro walnut, that's the Leonardo, isn't it? In fact, that's a twin for your guitar. Cut from the same tree. That's all from one tree.
Wow.
I came over from Oregon. It's the same timber. Claro walnut and bigger pieces. This is planted in Kew Gardens, allegedly by Queen Victoria. Allegedly. This is snakewood. Incredibly hard wood to deal with. It doesn't bend, it doesn't glue, but it's lovely. It doesn't come in very big logs, it's very small, and costs an awful lot of money.
And what would you use that for?
That would be bindings, almost certainly decoration. That lump of wood there, if it was one lump, would probably cost about 300 quid. And we'd get it all chopped up.
Yeah.
I've got lots. I've got more wood than anybody else. Haven't I? You might get to go on a 12-string guitar a bit later on.
Blimey.
If it gets finished.
I was going to say, that's got a few more strings than
a
few more strings going on.
There's too many in my life.
Too many. Let's have a look up here. Paul's put in the first cut into the corners of the guitar bodies and put the bindings in.
Okay.
He doesn't know we're filming him.
So that's the channel around the edge of the guitar body.
Yeah. Next for ukuleles. That ukulele is going to Hawaii, would you believe? The home of ukuleles.
All the way back to them. Right.
There's the sides there to match that soundboard. Adirondack and African blackwood. You'll hear a bit more about that in future months. I won't say any more about it just now.
I'm assuming that's for a celebrity,
Well-
a famous.
A famous person, yeah. 2 special mandolins.
Nice.
It's
That's
made
beautiful.
Yeah, that's quilted sapele, Sigurd redwood.
It's interesting the choice of using redwood on a mandolin, like in terms of.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got lots of small pieces, so it does work.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw it away. But it sounds great.
Go for it then.
There's some guitars here from 1970s that have come back for refrets, all
Yeah.
sorts of, sometimes in a terrible state.
I remember seeing the newsletter you had Ed Tudor Pole's one at one point, where
Ed
we
what?
got Ed Tudor Pole had a.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a story.
So,
What's that?
a man who doesn't
Another
have to-
Leonardo. That's just like yours,
it is indeed.
but different timbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very simple, isn't it? It's Indian rosewood
Yeah.
and Engelmann spruce.
Well, that one's got the 14 fret to the body.
Yeah. Of course, yours at 12.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Be interesting to hear the difference between
Well,
the two.
Play it.
Go and have a
We'll
listen.
take it in there.
Yeah. Da Vinci and DiCaprio. 2 different Leonardos.
There are so many differences, though, between these 2 guitars in the structure.
Yeah.
The biggest one, in my opinion, is the 12 frets to the body. The second biggest one is the soundboard.
Yeah.
Third, back and sides. Oh, yeah. Much lighter sound,
Yeah.
isn't it? But can you play it harder? The action might be a bit lower, of course. But can you play it harder? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the action is much lower on this one.
Yeah.
To be
That won't
between the
help.
two. Yeah, very different though. But yeah, the volume seems more. It's a difficult one because because you're behind the sound hole as well. Like there's a very much
Yeah,
difference.
well,
in
we
terms
hear
of-
it differently
yeah.
here to what you do.
And compare that to that.
Okay.
Totally.
I want to make some notes. I think I know where we're heading to, but it doesn't have to be fully decided now because it's going to take a long time to get this done.
Yeah.
You know, the order book is about 2 years.
Yep.
I'll try and do better, but while you're here, there's no better opportunity to talk things through. You've got a guitar in your hand.
Indeed.
You can point out what it is that you like, and I can notice things and feed it back to you and get some backwards
Yep.
and forwards. So I'm starting off here with the Falstaff.
Yes.
Which is what that is.
It's what I've kind of gravitated towards, and it feels totally comfortable. It feels like an acoustic. It's the archetypal acoustic guitar shape, sound,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's probably the guitar that most of my professional customers would choose, mostly, obviously not 100%.
It's only because they haven't got a Leonardo already.
Well, there is that, yeah. But of course, it's best if you have 3 or 4.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, if we're going to make any changes, if you started off with the standard Falstaff, the one that's in your hand, which is completely standard,
Yep.
where would you go? What would you change?
I think the scale length is totally fine. The 14 frets, no cutaways is.
You're happy with 14 frets?
I'm happy with
Well,
that.
it makes a massive difference to the sound, so
Yeah.
you've got to be...
There's quite the difference in terms of that, but I think just because of what this next one is going to end up going towards, it's going to end up being a straight 14 fret job, that sort of thing. Neck wise, it feels a bit chunky. I'm not planning to do much.
Chunky, right?
Yeah, it's a V shape job.
Well,
I mean,
okay, we'll measure that.
I'm happy with it.
Each one's a little bit different,
Yeah.
so I don't mind that. I'm not made by machine. What about the neck width?
You could probably go a bit wider on that. Just
That's
because
45 millimetres,
Yeah.
so you want to go a bit wider than
a
that.
little bit wider than that.
1 millimetre makes a massive difference. The whole range you've got is really 43 to 45 is the normal spread, 3 millimetres. Outside of that is an outlier.
If it's
So
if
it's
it's
a
45,
1
if
millimetre
this is
is
45 already,
Yeah.
leave it at that.
Now, how does that play? How's the action feeling?
Action's pretty good actually. It's pretty low. I wouldn't want it any lower than that. That kind of pushes.
Yeah, it's just starting to lose out.
Yeah.
You're hitting it a bit too hard. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's
And the sound you're getting from that, is that what you're after?
that's what I'm
or-
after.
That's just the Engelmann's first top, which is it's the key part of that sound, really.
It's got that the push and the definition that you don't necessarily get with certainly with the redwood top and the cedar. I mean, those
It's
are both
stiffer and harder and heavier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been through the differences between
Engelmann
them.
is the middle of all the spruces, really. European spruce is probably the softest of them all. Sitka and the hybrid spruces, they're the hardest, and Adirondack harder still. Now, your left hand, where's your thumb going most of the time?
Most of the time, I'm sort of.
You never come over the
I
top?
never come over the top
Okay.
to play. I still have my classical guitar teacher still lives in my head rent free, telling me that my thumb needs to be halfway down the neck. So
Okay.
it's
Do you find that very slight V useful? Or does it bother you?
it's not.
It's something I quite like because you can put the thumb in exact. You don't normally put your thumb directly behind. It's normally off to one side.
So I do this with the workshops as well. Like my thumb typically is sort of halfway down the neck anyway.
From when I'm watching you here, it's not. It's further up.
You think?
Here you go.
I try and keep it down, but it does occasionally creep
Yeah.
over.
Well-
Certainly doing stretches and stuff like that, I'll duck it down.
Is the neck shape persuading you to do that, or are you having to fight the neck shape there?
I'm not having to fight it. I don't think so. I mean, I think because you've got that V, your thumb naturally tends to want to go either over it or under.
Yes. Normally over it.
I'd be happier with a rounded one, with a more rounded
Really?
profile than the V.
Now, just the question there, the stretch, is that scale length okay?
This is fine.
Okay. Go on. Are you playing mostly sitting down?
I'm probably going to end up playing this mostly sitting down.
So the body size isn't bothering
size
you
isn't
under
bothering
your
me,
arm
no.
or anything?
No.
Okay.
I think it's the other Falstaff where I've been standing up and it's been longer, and out there, that's where I've been finding like niggles and things. But
Yeah.
but the Leonardo, I don't find that at all either. So, but that's the one I typically play standing up.
Good.
There's
Well,
no
I've got
reason to-
enough here.
There's no reason to not put a strap button on it, though.
No. We'll talk about pickups, etc., completely separately. Things are changing all the time, and by the time you got this, they might have invented something else.
It might be a case where I don't even think it needs a pickup anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay. I've got everything I need.
excellent.
We'll continue this conversation via the keyboards.
Yeah, perfect. Oh wow, okay. Tell us about the cues.
Oh, the cue. Oh, well, this is. Well, you know, I used to make cues for a living, in between other things. That is one of the last ones I made. This is one of the first ones. This is English ash. That's American ash. That's a snooker cue. This isn't. It's a pool cue. This is smaller and thinner.
Well, that's why I haven't got a ball in yet. Then.
That's probably what it is, maybe. Oh my word, you're starting to work now. And I was talking about headroom in guitars earlier on, and snooker cues, etc. It's the same thing. With a certain cue, you can hit a ball hard, another cue you can't.
All rise for the dog.
Yeah.
Hey you.
Dog trying to play pool. Taz the pub dog.
This is fine.
And you're playing pool left-handed.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes okay. I am left-handed.
But you don't play guitar left-handed?
No.
Okay.
Not that I mean, I wouldn't get any balls in any better if I was playing right-handed, to be honest. But yeah, I am left-handed, but play guitar right-handed.
Is that just convenience or what you've learned to do? Or?
Yeah, I don't think I ever tried playing guitar left-handed. It was just always a thing of playing right-handed. So there's you won. That's a surprise.
1-0.
Congratulations.
Pretty much.
Should
Again?
Let's rack 'em up again. No, I just always started right-handed. It felt more natural playing guitar right-handed. There's a few of us like that though, who sort of they're left-handed, but it gives you more dexterous in your left hand, but whatever. Come down that end. So weirdly, I mean, I guess one of the reasons I started getting into Fyldes and stuff like that was a certain Mr. Giltrap. Because he used to play concerts near where I grew up, and he got those Rob Armstrongs and then Fyldes, and was just like, oh, this is really cool. And then, and if you're playing acoustic guitar, the opportunities to go and see people doing like acoustic guitar concerts is pretty slim. Certainly back in like mid-90s kind of thing. So Gordon was like the local celebrity.
Of course, Gordon was my first ever professional customer.
Yeah.
71, that would have been. 1971.
How did you run into him? Or did he find you?
I found him in the club. He was
Fair
playing in the club, and I went up to him and said, will you try this? Oh, this is nice. Where did you get it from? I made it. Will you make me one? Okay.
Well, fair enough. I started doing more stuff in C and wanted another guitar that was longer scale to do things in C, and I think we got in touch,
Right.
emails back and forth after that. Would he be interested in making something that was a bit weird?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, okay.
Yes. You're talking my language.
Absolutely.
No.
I think it's really interesting as well because you meet lots of other guitarists on the scene, and they're all sort of like a lot of people on the professional guitar circuit play Fyldes as well. So everyone sort of has like Roger is this weird hub in the middle and everywhere
I'm a
else.
hub. I've never
sort of
been
like-
called a hub before.
Everyone sort of comes off it, and it's great to see sort of like newer players and people coming up.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like it's
That's a big part of it for me anyway.
Yeah.
It's the players and the music.
Yeah.
It always has been. Just handy that I can make guitars to fit in.
Well, I think it's an important one as well, because like there's a lot of people who benefit from having a quality instrument to sort of you aspire to grow into. You know, you kind of that was terrible. But it's very easy to go to a shop now and just buy something that sort of functions. But actually, if you get something that you grow into and it inspires you to move on.
Be there for next time.
You're assuming you're going to get it next time.
I'm assuming I'm going to go next time.
Has Tristan got a fanfare aerial?
I have made one.
Yeah.
I've also made one with a sloped fet. All the fets went in the same direction for a guy that had a damaged arm and he could only play
okay.
that way. I think it's on YouTube somewhere, certainly on in the newsletter. We get a lot of requests like that. People have particular issues that can't play guitar the way they want to. And, well played. It's good fun. Making something unusual.
Go on, clean up.
Okay. You say so.
Yeah. And he'll still get that in as well.
Let's see what happens. Nothing. Well, thank you very much.
Well, I was going to say, oh, there we go. And you get 2 shots on
2 shots.
he only needs 1. There we go.
Very much.
Huh?
Yeah, that'll do.
That'll do.
Let's go and listen to some guitar music.
Okay, let's do that.